consciousness, it's no joke. Marion and Mary explore the mind, being hope and healing for these changing times. Be the change you want to see, multidimensionality. Stillness, joy, shadow work, shamanic change back to the earth. New earth now. New earth now. New earth now.
Hello and welcome to New Earth Now. My name is Marion Porter.
And I'm Mary Beck, her psychic sidekick.
Hey, we're back again. We're back again.
And what are we talking about today, Marion?
Today's the Easy Show.
The Easy Show?
Easy Show.
Wrote itself.
We are talking about multidimensionality.
Multidimensionality. Why don't we start off just talking about dimensions in mathematical terms? How about that? Just to start us off. So we're all on the same page with this.
I love that. I love that.
One of my favorite books, Wrinkle in Time. Right?
Love
Wrinkle
that
in Time,
book.
Madeline L'Engle,
Love
thank you.
that book.
Yes. Well, anyway, what's very good about it is it starts off with one dimension is a point, and two dimensions is a straight line, and two dimensions are flat like a rectangle, and three dimensions would be if you square that and you bring it into height.
Width and depth.
Yes. And they go on to explain another dimension called a tesseract, which we're not going to tell you anything about because you got to read the book for yourself. But the fact is, that's a very good way to start looking about and talking about dimensionality because it starts with something we already know about.
The math and science of it all.
We just love it all. Fascinating.
Well, you got to start off with something.
Right. So here we are in three dimensions,
3D, this is 3D.
We can go forward and back, we can go up and down, we can turn around. It's all very lovely. We know how to solve for volume because we all took geometry in high school.
We're going to talk about volume soon.
Yes, we are. But also, what we want to talk about in terms of dimensionality is the difference between fear-based living and love-based living.
Fear-based and joy-based, baby. Fear-based and joy-based is the only way to go. Yes, joy, love, all of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you want to give us an example?
I do. I do. This is everything, okay?
Everything.
Well, what do we always talk about? As within, so without, okay? So remember, the only thing I can do for the world is to work on me, you know? So as you work on yourself, you see a different world. Now, you've got like a 3D world over here, and I'm just going to say, if you ever want to look up someone, read Dolores Cannon and her work on the New Earth, because, you've got over here 3D, and it's fear-based.
Not always, can be. It's easy to fall into fear-based because we're so tied into our senses. How will this hurt me? How will this, eat me?
Yeah.
And your own fight versus flight response for things is based in fear. Well, it's a self-preservation thing because you have a three-dimensional body, a physical body that it's like your brain uses that to drive itself around in three-dimensional space.
It's very real, but...
And in three dimensions, we also consider ourselves as separate beings because we have space, what we feel is space between us, and we have a sense of separateness. We view each other as separate people, separate beings, and we often are working very hard at keeping good, healthy boundaries between us to make sure our sense of safety and autonomy is whole. And what that does, though, is it tends to make us start thinking about things outside of ourselves as being separate from ourselves. And also, we had talked about this, about value. We see things, we value what's outside of us. Where's our job? Where's our house? How much money is in the bank? Where do we go on vacation? All the external stuff is what we look to in three dimensions for value. That's that keeping the Joneses kind of thing. That's where a lot of people fall and prey to social media. I got the wrong shoes on. I'm listening to the wrong music. I've got the wrong foods. And it gets a little out of hand, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So back to the kind of contrast of fear-based and joy-based. It's more of your outlook. As you do the work, as you continue to raise your vibrations. Remember, we learned.
And do your shadow work.
Yeah,
Definitely
shadow
don't forget
work.
that.
Everything builds on to each other. So fear is sort of a lower vibration, and you work up through all of that, and you raise your vibration, and you get to, it's along with your chakras. Joy is kind of up here and moving on. So as you do the work, as you raise your vibrations, as you start seeing a different world and seeing how you can kind of create the world you see, it's, you maybe can't change what's happening, but you can change how you respond to it.
We
and
respond, don't react.
You see, and you see a different world.
And that's also, I think, react would be a fear-based response.
Yes.
And responding would be a love-based.
Exactly.
There we go. Look at us making sense over
yes,
here. Whoa.
Yes. So the thing of it is, when you are living from joy, you're seeing joy, you're experiencing
You're expecting joy.
Yeah.
You're sending out joy.
Right.
You fill your little Tai Chi sphere with joy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so that's two different ways of looking at it. So in your lower dimensions, your lower vibrations, you've got fear-based. Your higher vibrations, you've got joy-based. And eventually, those worlds can kind of split, where you're more over here or a little bit in here over there. New Earth isn't really like all of a sudden, boom, I'm on a new planet and where's everybody else? That's just kind of not how it works.
It's more of an awakening. It's more of an experience of your own understanding shifting. Your own little internal paradigm shift is suddenly, I'm not a body that has a soul. I'm a soul having a physical three-dimensional experience in this body.
I love that.
Oh, cool.
I love that.
Enjoy that. Okay.
Well, yeah, because I'm going to build off of that.
Please do.
Because, when you think about dimensions and such, we're going to talk about our 3D body. And what you just said, I love it. We are a spirit in a body. So this very much dimensions. We have a body to move us around and navigate our 3D reality.
Right.
And it's beautiful for that. When we want to think about dimensions as, first of all, a dimension isn't necessarily like, I'm going to see you later, I'm going to the third, or I'm now going to go to the 12th dimension. Wait, you still see me?
I still see you. You're still here, Marion.
Do you guys see me there?
Still here.
It doesn't work like that. I wish it did. But it's not quite like that.
Not for us, not yet.
No. Maybe someday.
For some of us.
But so the way it works, though, is you have this body for navigating the third dimension, experiencing everything here. When we want to experience higher dimensional things, we have what we call a luminous energy field, the energy around us, your Tai Chi bubble. I love that you referred to it as a Tai Chi bubble because
a little sphere of energy.
Yeah, and it refers back to a back show with George on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he's often told us, you don't just consider your front hemisphere, you have a back hemisphere as well. So in the years I've been taking Tai Chi, I've begun thinking of myself as this spherical being, this energetic field. So it's not just me that's here, but I extend energetically around me. And that sometimes, too, you can tell when someone's too close to you.
Yeah, really?
Or on the subway sometimes, or in line for something. When you're like,
You
you're
can
just
feel
too close.
eyes
You can
behind
feel,
you.
you can feel them. My sister used to wake me up on a Saturday morning. We must have been 8 or 9. And I would wake up out of a sound sleep because she was just holding her hand over my back and rolling like this, going, I'm not touching you. I'm like, stop it, what are you doing? What she was doing was she was in my field. She was in my aura. And when you're sleeping, of course, you're wide open, right? All your chakras are, whoo.
Yeah.
So she was able to wake me up by just putting her hand maybe 6 inches over my back. It used to make me crazy because I could feel this in my... Anyway, that was
that's a thing, though.
it certainly is a thing.
Yeah.
So that's from a very early age. I knew there was something going on outside of what I could use my senses to figure out, because that wasn't anything. She wasn't touching me. There was no smell involved. There was no taste. It was not 5 sense based, but it was a reality of an extension of myself into what? Into
A different realm of experiencing reality.
Was. Yes, it was.
Yeah, and I love that you said that. And when I learned about what this field is around us, you know, Spirit knows that I need help. And so one day I was contemplating this.
As you do.
Yeah, while I was peeling a clementine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, have you ever peeled a clementine? Right?
Yeah.
So you peel that baby right up, it unzips right before your eyes. A hard look and it's open. But you've got this spherical thing with a hole down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And all of those segments go around and back up, and around and back up, and around and back
little
up.
citrus donut.
Yeah, so that's literally what every single person has around them. And it comes in the top of our head, like around, down, and out the root chakra. So the crown chakra and the root chakra are making this whole thing
And
all
what do we
around
call that
us.
shape?
What do we call it?
We call it Taurus?
A Taurus, yes. A Taurus.
Like you call it.
I
Yeah.
got a Taurus moon.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Different kind of Taurus, though.
Yeah.
It's a shape.
I-
Anyway,
You know, math
anyway.
is hard. That's
No,
why.
math is not
That's
hard.
why they showed me the clementine.
Clementine, that's geometry, though. That perfect little spherical clementine.
I
with
can't
the,
eat geometry.
Oh, heavens. Anyway. All right.
But so that's the thing. So we literally, you all know about the chakras, or if you don't, you got your crown chakra and your root chakra, and then all the ones. So this creates like this central channel to which all your other chakras. We'll do a show on that. We'll do that.
We'll do chakras.
Yeah, we'll
work it
do a
into it.
chakra show.
I'll write that down.
Yeah, you heard it here first. We'll do a show on chakras. In between now and then, look it up.
Look it up.
Yeah, it'll be
Anyway.
fun for you.
So sensing the having awareness of the actuality of other dimensions.
Yeah, that's we're
bump
using
into
it
that.
through this.
We bump into that through our little sisters, messing with our auras when we're sleeping. We bump into that as you're falling asleep sometimes. You start to hear those little voices calling your name. That's a treat when you're little scary, but okay.
Dreams in general.
Dreams in general, intuition,
Yeah.
contact with our beloved afterlife people. You know, I had a loss as a very young child of a dear family member, and so grew up hoping she was still watching me. You know, and having later in high school experiences when another friend's brother had passed, of sitting there in geometry, and suddenly Richie's talking to me saying, write this down. So I began writing down what he was telling me in class. So that began the psychic work, the spirit medium work. But I always have a sense of connection with the other side, with angels, with guides, with dreams, with dream work, with people visiting in dreams. So, I mean, there's a whole lot of ways that we as three-dimensional beings still have access to and connection with other dimensional realities around us. As I was looking, we were looking at some videos, Tesla videos, remember? Recently, and there was a diagram showing the visible light and what we could see. But then on both sides of the spectrum were other kinds of rays and lights that exist that we can't see. We can't see ultraviolet, we can't see X-rays, yet we experience those things and the results of interacting with those things in 3 dimensions. So we can have like evidence that these things exist. We can use them to affect, like using X-rays, but we don't actually see those things, yet we know they're there. So that's what another dimensional we call that another dimension. Some people call time the fourth dimension. I'm not sold on that. It's tidy, but sometimes the cosmos isn't that tidy.
Back to the eyes, though.
Back to
because
the eyes.
That's the best thing.
What's the
And
best
thank
thing?
you for that, because the eyes are rods and cones. They can only see so much. There's other things going on here. We could have all kinds of guests. Hello and welcome to everybody
welcome.
who's here. Thank you. Thank you. But no, seriously.
I am totally serious.
So once I heard in meditation that I need to learn to look beyond the wall of my eyes. Now that brings into mind the third eye. Because you all know about the concept of the third eye right in here. That's what helps you to see what isn't visible. You know
But
how,
yet is present.
yeah. You know how you're just like, someone's here. I know someone's here. I can't see them. Well, no, you can't. But if you sense them,
So now I'm getting stuck. I'm thinking, wait, is that then if we can sense it with 3 dimensions? Does it mean it's not in 3 dimensions, or is it in 3 dimensions we still can't perceive?
I think the third eye.
Or am I getting hung up
the
on
third,
words?
No,
Hung up
no,
on
the
words.
third eye. You've got. It's almost like the three dimensions are like a backdrop, if you will.
It's our
like
stage.
Yes,
Our
but
earth
and if you sense something, I feel that the third eye can kind of fill that in. If we can just kind of hone in on that, trust what we receive.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know?
I'm thinking of certain exercises during a Tai Chi class where I would have my eyes closed, because I'm working on listening, sensing Chi and feeling that, and even talking about it, I close my eyes.
Yeah.
Because that is for me how I can tune into those other more subtle senses to sense things like energy moving or visitors.
Yeah, well, it's a hard thing to do.
And I wouldn't say hard. I would say it's ungainly if you're not used to it.
Yeah,
And
I
it can
mean,
be a
I
little
like
cumbersome.
I like to have a control. Like if I think there's the Jolly Green Giant in front of me, I'm going to say, is that coming out of my mind, or is it really the Jolly Green Giant? So my control is a life-size, a full-size seahorse dressed in a sailor suit, holding an ice cream cone.
Ice cream cone.
That's always something that I want to have show up.
And does it
It will one day.
someday?
One day there'll be a knock on the door, and there'll be a big, tall, like Aquaman seahorse. That's my dream.
We'll all hope for that for you, Marion.
Everybody.
Everybody right
Let's think about it.
All
That
right.
next time I have a knock on the door. No, but that's the thing. Your third eye helps to fill in, and then you use this luminous energy field around you. You know, there's so much to the body.
We haven't tapped into or known
Right.
about.
Right. You know, I've often said the body's like a timeshare.
You have often said that, Marion.
Yeah. But if you're a spirit coming to a body, and
Right.
your body is designed to take you around a 3D reality,
Right.
it sounds kind of like a timeshare.
But it
really does.
also has some other dimensional perks,
Right.
like intuition,
Yeah.
like being able to seek deeper meaning in things, not just taking them for the literal face value. I've often been told to be in the world but not of it.
Right.
In the world, not of it. That helps you kind of disconnect a little bit too, and take a little space and make a little space between you and stuff that's going on, so that maybe the things that everyone else is freaking out about doesn't flap your feathers. You know, I don't need to get all freaked about whatever's happening here or happening there. I just will focus on, my life, my garden, my children, my husband, my cats, my immediate vicinity, the people I love, the earth that I cultivate, the organizations I support. I'm focusing on the realities and my 3 dimensions that I like, and I'm unplugging from the ones that maybe aren't as relevant to me. And I do that. Sometimes run into a little trouble with that. I run into trouble with that as a mom when I was, I thought, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try. I'm going to go to the school, to their meeting, to the PTO, and I'm going to be interested in fundraising and selling candy. I'm going to do it. I don't know how, but I'm going to make an attempt.
How'd that work out?
An attempt was made. Well, I went to the meeting. I had my paper. I was ready to sign up for committees, and I was like, no, it's just inside me. It just felt like all wrong. Like, no, this is not, you're going to have to work really hard just to like break even with the normal, I'm out in my yard talking to the earth and bringing up spirit and having my little, but I'm sorry, I completely failed at the three-dimensional task of being at a PTO meeting and being interested in the fundraiser. I tried. And my husband was great. He was great at doing the room dad thing and going to the meetings and doing the volunteer work and all the things that had to do with the three-dimensional reality of being a parent in place and time. And I applaud his efforts and got great kids and had a great experience, fantastic schools, great. But I had to take a step back because I just wasn't interested. That wasn't what, no bells are ringing.
It didn't spark joy.
No, and some people were very enthusiastic and very gung-ho and very good at it and did the fundraiser and made the funds and made good choices and did all those things, and God bless them, because we need people invested in those three-dimensional things, keep those three-dimensional things running. I am very grateful that there were willing souls that were able and very enthusiastic about making those realities happen for our children. But
Yeah.
I will be in the backyard. Thank you.
Well, that's the thing, though. One of the
Everyone's not wired the same.
we all have our own things that we like to do, our own ways. We can't necessarily change the larger picture, but what we have control over in our lives, it kind of starts with our boundaries, with who we are. It goes back to the self-care thing,
Well, I have been lately having the experience of backing up from it, backing up from things. So, like, I'll go back to the whole idea of being a mom at the school. Okay, if I'm looking at my own kids and their needs being met, I can do that in 3 dimensions. But then I back up from that and I look at the community of school as a whole. And so I tried to support that by, I did
the bigger image.
Yes. But then if you back up for more of that, you can I look at it in terms of public education, or am I looking at literacy? Am I looking at literacy in my state? Am I looking at it in my country? Am I looking at it in other countries? Am I looking at literacy as being something to look at? So I think what I try to do is I try to come back and back and back some more. So not some focusing on the small, but I'm trying to get further back, because when I get a wider view, I can encompass more beings. And if I start doing that in 3D, then pretty soon I'm eking into the other dimensions too. And then I find pulled further and further away, and what I see is this wonderful oneness of us all. That there truly is only one of us. So as in 3D, when it's all about the separate beings, when you further away into alternate realities and dimensional ways of being, is I get a fuller sense that there is truly only one of us. And all the value is not exterior, but interior. It's about connecting with love and connecting with healing energy and connecting with all that is, and realizing in a startling moment, a flash of realization, that there is only one of you, which we all are. So then why do we have this ongoing close-up little factions battling? When you pull back, we realize it's all the same. It's like the fingers don't agree that they're part of the same whole. It's like the raisins don't believe in the raisin bread, but guess what? You're connected. You're connected. We're all connected. I'm you, you're me, we're us.
I love that.
I am.
I love that.
You love
that's
that?
the greatest thing. That's the
Well,
greatest.
thank you very much. I'll be going now.
No, but I wanna build off of
Well,
that.
that's where I spend a lot of time alone, and I'm very lucky in that fact.
Yeah.
Retirement, we love being retired.
Oh,
yes.
I thought it would involve a lot more sitting around.
It
but
will
okay.
eventually, but you get through the bit. Anyway, any of you still working, hang in there. It's worth it. We've successfully completed our adulthood and are now in our second childhood. So stay with us. But I have time to contemplate these things. I have time in the hammock. I can think about the world and moving back from. I think that wonderful picture of the Earth from space is so startling, because there we all are, except for the guy up there taking the pictures with his 2 buddies. All of us, we're all right there. All of us, all at once, together. There's only one of us. There's this. I don't know. It could be considered a spiritual experience or a religious experience, but I just find it to be a hopeful experience, to consider that we're all of us.
And not only from the looking out, which is dimensions, by the way. You know my little bit about seeing the volume and calculating the volume?
Yes,
I
like
wanna do that.
Minecraft.
I want to do that. Yes. Oh, look, it's right there,
Right there.
Minecraft.
Go ahead.
There it is.
Jump in,
there
Marion.
it is. Minecraft area Rubik's Cube volume. Got it.
Got
I
it.
hope I can get it out.
Go ahead.
So here's the thing, though. One of the ways that you can really get in touch with this oneness and then build off to the dimensions with that is to realize you've seen pictures that have been pixelated, right? And it's all little squares, you know? So if you picture this room, right? Or for you at home, follow along, look in your, I'm going to talk to them.
You go
Angie.
ahead. I'll just sit back.
This is really cool because wherever you are, look at your room and you can see the room. You can calculate the volume of that because if you think about the pixels, right? It's a square. Make it a Rubik's cube. So it's like a cube. Make it a cube, right? Instead of a square, which is just flat,
2 dimensions.
make it all into cubes, however size you want the cubes.
Okay.
Like, so here's a corner, sort of.
Cool.
Well, actually, no, that's a beautiful woods scene. We see a green screen, but it's going to be beautiful. Look over there.
Look over where?
Over there. Now I just want to say, here comes Jeannie with her new boyfriend.
Go ahead, say
All right,
it.
I did.
Look
There we
over
are. We'll get
there.
that.
Where?
Here comes Jeannie with her new boyfriend.
There we go.
What song was that?
I don't even know.
Oh, but there we go. But back to this. Back to the, sorry, ADHD. It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
Yeah. But so picture the cubes in your room and you can actually calculate the volume. If you want to break it down to 4 cubes, 5 cubes, but you will eventually see, like, fill this room up with cubes. Here's my cubes. Here's the cubes in between us. Here's your cubes. Your cubes are turning into this desk for you at home, wherever you're sitting, your cubes. There's the chairs cubes, the space between you cubes, whatever you're streaming on. And if you're liking this on your streaming service, here's that.
Here's that pitch.
You know what? Right here, this, if you like what you're seeing, right here's the QR code for the Community Voice channel. Please check them out. Think about ways you can help or donate. And also, right here, click like and share. Thank you very much. I told you it would present itself.
Did that.
So all your cubes, my cubes, the cubes here, your cubes, the cubes of the desk, the cubes of the floor. There's cameras in front of us, camera 1, camera 2, and camera 3. Hi, friends. Those cameras, and then on to you guys. Our cubes are going right into wherever they're streaming. This is how we are all in oneness, because you calculate the volume of your space, calculate the volume of the room, calculate the volume of your block where you live. You keep calculating the volume. Your cubes are the cubes are the cubes are the cubes. And our cubes are connected.
There's only one cube.
You take enough cubes, and what do you got?
You got a disco ball.
A disco ball.
Marion.
No, that's
all
another
roads lead to the disco ball.
Because once you, can I get into the disco ball theory?
Please.
Have I done enough with the cubes?
Do whatever makes sense to you, dear.
All right, very good. I just want to make sure I've covered the bases on the cube before I go to the disco ball. I think I have. All right, so you see the disco ball. You've all seen a disco ball. I know disco balls depend on an external light source, but in this sort of metaphor, our luminous energy field, our cubes that we're in, however you want to look at it, can also be considered a disco ball with all the little facets.
All the facets.
We're going from like a Rubik's Cube to a disco ball. That's a great metaphor because everybody knows what it looks like and all the facets. It can instantly be seen. because our one luminous energy field, as we've seen how we're in oneness, another way to think of that oneness and to think about all the dimensions is to think about the disco ball. So you're inside the disco ball, and we are the disco ball at the same time. And we are the internal light shining out.
Okay.
All right? Now,
Are we separate disco balls?
we
or
will be. We will be. We're going to
Okay.
start from
There's only one.
right, but we're going to get to that. But
Okay.
we're in a room.
We're in a room.
I am in a room, a dark room, and I have entered in it. The disco ball of me is now in the room, and I'm shining lights out in all different directions, right?
That sounds like you.
Yeah, it does. It does. But anyways, those represent
No, that's
dimensions.
a very, I don't mean to be light about it, it's a very powerful image, just, especially as a healer. When you consider that you're sending out energy in all directions, all from you, all at once in a spherical disco kind of way, that's a lot of light. That's a lot of power. That's a lot of healing to send out. I always think of things as a healer because that's what I do. But yeah, I like that image. That's very powerful. All that light streaming out of you.
Right. But all these different little facets represent kind of different dimensions. And now when I think of this now, I
There you
think
go.
of all the possible parts of me that are bouncing out. So one of the things that I've noticed with beginning to contemplate myself as a multidimensional being is to realize that I don't necessarily have like this laundry list of past lives anymore.
Right.
They're all present.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
if I'm getting information, it's from another version of me somewhere else, from this light going over there. And I'm getting that.
Different versions of you. Can I plug another book while we're at this?
Listen, please.
Please. Richard Bach, who wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull, also wrote a fantastic, but not often known book called One. It's called One.
Yeah.
And I remember giving it to a friend of mine to read. Now, this young man read everything. He read the encyclopedia twice. He read everything. And he brought it back to me and goes, I couldn't deal with this book. This is the first book I've read across in my life. I can't deal with this book. And I'm like, yes, my kind of book. But no, it's not. It's not hard. It's not complicated. It's a very simple story. But what it does is it explores the possibility and the realities of each of us having other experiences in other realms, in other genders, in other forms, in other worlds, but they're all us. And what
And
that
all
means,
happening
and
at
it
once.
all happens simultaneously, and it can twist your brain if you're working too hard to fight it. But if you just go with the story, just go with it. He explains things in beautiful metaphor with an airplane and passengers and Richard Bach, One. Yeah, I'm sorry. Back
please.
to the
No,
disco
I
ball.
love it.
No,
I love it.
But when you were talking about the other aspects of
Yeah.
yourself, every other life, like you said, they're not lined up. I used to think of like strings of pearls, or
Yeah.
I have got more the soap suds theory right now for myself.
I love that.
Is where I often say I'm living in my own private Idaho, because aren't we all? But think about it though, each of us has our own perceptions, our own beliefs. Even people you love and care for could have completely different belief systems than you do, and they're completely different. So it's like each of us has our own little encapsulated life, our own little, we feel we're so separate, but if we look at soap suds, it's all these millions of little orbs of light that are connected because they're stuck together. And when you look at soap suds, you see this one big heap of bubble bath. But in essence, there's all these little that look like individuals, but they're all stuck together and touching each other. And some are touching closer than others, but it's all one beautiful glob of light shimmering soap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, thank you. I often try to, especially in times when you may be in places where there are more people than you anticipated, or more types of people than you're used to, or more kinds of volumes of people, or whatever the issues are, being around a lot of people, I try to just remember that each of us is trying our best. Each of us is our own little soap bubble, bouncing along, bumping into other soap bubbles, trying to make the best of it, realizing that we're more connected than we truly believe. And I try to embrace that
I love that.
idea.
I love that.
It helps a lot when you're traveling by air.
Anything helps when you're traveling by air.
There are situations when you are no longer the only person in the house right now. You're one of 100 or something people in a smaller place, and now you all have to get along and breathe the same air for a few hours. So guess what? Just relax and know that it's all just comfortably one.
Comfortably one.
Yes.
I have become comfortably one.
Comfortably one.
But that's the thing. There is, so from my perspective, when I'm looking out these two little peepholes, like you're looking out a door, a little peephole in a door, I am looking out at my world. This is my world that I see. And I look at you, there's still just one person, it's me. And now I'm gonna look out the viewers, however many few there are watching, and throughout all time and space, I'm looking at every single viewer. Even if you're looking at this 10 years from now, I'm looking at you.
On YouTube Classic.
Yeah, there's only one of us. And so whoever I see, this whole disco ball theory, which I may build on in another show, but this, if everybody is me, however many people are here, of just the perfect versions of me, you are a mirror version of me. When I look at this mirror, I think, oh, geez, maybe I am okay. I love you so much.
Thank you, dear. It's just by the same other side of the coin is when we encounter people who are too much like us, do they push our buttons? Oh, yes, they do.
Shadow work helps that.
There you go. And we don't want to admit it, but what really ticks me off most about my sister, she's just like me. And so I'm not blaming her for being who she is. I'm seeing aspects of myself that maybe I'm not so happy with.
Yeah.
And I can see them clearer outside of these orbs. And so, but that you need to remember that, if you feel resistance, it's you. So, if something's stuck, what could you do about this? How is this? Who was it told me something? Was it you saying, how does this challenge my beliefs?
Oh,
was that you?
Oh, yes. What was that
Why don't you talk about
realization
that?
I had? What truth of mine is being challenged?
Yeah,
What
when you're
truth
feeling
of mine?
stuck, when you're getting, when you're bumping into something or belief or a person.
Is it challenging something that I hold true?
Yeah.
Because what we hold. Remember
how you're wired as a child?
Yeah.
Goes deep, and it comes out in ways you may not be consciously fully aware that the reason you're responding to something reacting in a certain way is because it's like part of your wiring. It's like, if this, then that, then I must do this. But no, do you really have to do that, or can you just think about a better way to be?
Yeah, because maybe that way doesn't work anymore.
Or it worked in 1965 and it doesn't work in 2025.
This is challenging my truth. What truth is being challenged here? Just another way of looking at limiting belief.
Yeah.
Because it gave me a whole lot of clarifying. Because if someone is before me and I'm like, oh my God, I can't take this person, and I'm trying so hard. No, what version of me am I looking at? And what I want to try to get to in real time, and I really am. I'm getting kind of close. The work never ends.
Never ends.
But it's a lot that got me to be me, and there's an awful long way to go. So you might as well start it whenever you can. But so here's someone, and this person is in front of me, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't. I just can't stop. No. What aspect am I being shown of myself?
And can I handle it?
Yes.
And how will I handle it?
But how would I want to be? How would I want someone talking to me?
With compassion.
And so
love.
I've got to look at everybody with the fact that I am looking at myself. This is me. How would I want to be spoken to.
I just had a little thought here
Uh-huh.
as we're listening. Are we?
love this.
Because we're talking multidimensionality, but we're saying there is only one of us. So is that one dimensionality? No, that's the. Are we talking about multiverse? Are we talking about other realities, other dimensions, other choices? Like if I decide to wear the red dress today, does that mean I go off in the direction of the red dress, and every other aspect of me that's chosen a different color have their own realities? The green dress of, and the purple dress one, and by choosing one reality, are we then saying the other realities are going off in their own?
Or is the reality
universes?
choosing us?
Oh, here we go.
No,
exactly.
because-
no, this is important.
Yeah.
Because, we're saying we're talking about multidimensionality, but are we though? Are we talking about multidimensionality in terms of bumping into a dimension we're not always used to? Or we're talking about, and we can talk about multidimensionality beings another time.
Oh, another time.
Another show, a whole show.
Stay tuned. That'll be a good one.
Oh yeah, but like I'm thinking of instances where
I got you on this.
I know, thank you.
I got you on this.
I'm trying to understand if we're making sense. First of all, we're not talking in circles. But I know that when I experience, say, if I'm doing a reading, if I'm doing picking up intuitively on somebody, or picking up on spirit around somebody, or even a dear departed person, if it's mediumship, those other beings and other opportunities exist overlapping with us, but I wouldn't necessarily call them three-dimensional. So that's the other dimensional.
Well, let's look at it. Let's look at it in terms of music, if you will,
Okay.
and think about like a piano keyboard.
Okay.
All right. And so you've got like one note, like C, and then D next to it, I think.
Yeah.
C, D, E, F, G.
Hey.
All right. So a deer, a female deer. Anyways, but so you've got,
always with music.
I couldn't help it.
Go ahead.
So you've got C and you've got D. So those each have a frequency.
Right.
But
frequencies.
there's frequencies in between those notes, pitch.
Right.
All right, you've got C sharp. You got
And 3D then is like
D-
AM.
D
and
flat.
another dimension could be like FM.
right,
I can
but
switch my vibration. I can change the vibration and pick up different information based on the vibration I am
yes,
changing.
yeah, because you want to think of, it was Tesla, I think,
I love
who
that
said,
Tesla, yeah.
Nikolai
Yeah.
Tesla. He said, think of things in terms of frequency and vibration, right?
It's true.
Right, and then remember Pythagoras when he told me about his wheel of truth? You know, he made his money with the triangle because I'm telling you.
Back to music.
No,
back to
seriously,
music,
no, but
Marion.
we will. But he never talks to me about triangles. I'm like, this dude made his name and his fortune with triangles, and now it's all circles and music is
Ready
what he
for
wants
it.
to talk about. He in Pythagoras's wheel of truth, you got a circle, you got what, 360 degrees possibilities of truth.
Okay.
So for any one thing, you've got all different kinds of truth. And we know this because there's people who specialize in spinning the truth. So, and how that happens, actually, you've got, for one thing that's true, all right, you got all these possibilities. What you want to be true, you strike a chord. If you like this thing that's true, and this one over here, and this one over here that's true, it's like a harp, and you play that chord. That's a frequency of truth.
Okay.
We are, our little sphere, our little clementine we're in, can be considered one of the ways to look at it would be, this is our truth. We are our truth.
You can choose to resonate with the truths you hold. And as you
but be
learn and
willing-
develop and you add other resonances, other vibrations to your truth, and then you vibrate at a different...
Yeah, because it is our truth that
true.
positions us. Remember my thing with the quadratic equations? So
Math will save us all.
well, this is I don't know math, but
No,
boy,
no,
Holy
no, no, no.
Spirit can teach me.
No, but
and-
you're doing
Yeah.
right. I remember trying
Because
to do...
the X, Y, and Y was time. No, X was time, Y was consciousness, and we were a point on that line based on what our truths were.
Right.
And
Now, what if we made that come three-dimensional? Because that's a
that's
two-dimensional thing.
right. And then
Make
you're
it
going to that
three-dimensional.
turns
Bring
into
another.
a quadratic equation. So you got like a Rubik's cube, if you will. You've got a cube.
Okay.
You got a cube.
Right.
And so where we are in our quadratic equation is based on what our truths are. And what will come and change our truth is something called an influence. And when I learned that, I'm like, oh my God, well, there's a whole now internet career of being an influencer. You know? Yeah, it's a thing.
I heard.
It's a thing. Yeah.
That's
You
and that-
kids out there in the interweb land, you got
You
your
and
own
your
way of being.
electronics.
God love you. No, but that's
and that's another dimension too. 'Cause
Yeah.
you try to explain what the interweb is to somebody from the 50s. They burned you for a witch, you know, because it didn't exist. And how
Right.
could you get your mind around it? And but it also is a dimension that I don't go into that dimension. That's not
Right.
my thing, and that's okay. I go into the other dimensions. I want to, you know, I'm talking to spirit. I'm doing long distance energy healing. I'm doing other realities. I'm sure there are people doing other realities I know nothing about who are completely fulfilled and happy in their realities and their universe and their dimensions. So there's, I guess, could there be multidimensionality could encompass everyone's experiences because everyone's experience is its own personal dimension?
well, yeah, I think so. Because really, for all intents and purposes, dimensions are possibilities,
Okay.
right?
Or
So-
realms, because I keep going back to, you know, working intuitively, working as a psychic, working with spirit, and being connected to true, actual entities with thoughts and purpose and intent who are not physically present here in front of us in three dimensions, and yet there's no doubt they're giving us valid and true information about the situations and people and
Absolutely. And but to be at that level, that is so the amount of possibilities or dimensions or facets on your disco ball, if you will, it changes. It changes throughout the day because remember how we said your body has a blood pressure and your spirit, you have a frequency. And so I like what you said about the AM band and the FM band, the whole bandwidth, but let's just confine it to that.
Whether you tune into it or not, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Right,
It's just
right.
simply it's not something you've chosen
Right.
to amplify.
So you got an AM radio. Remember back in the day?
Back in the day,
You would
Bob Steele.
remember? Yes. Oh, come on, that was great. But
Snow days.
remember? Yes. But remember, if you had a scanner and you wanted to, like, I don't know, the Bolton Fire Department. Back in the day, you'd
Back
go
in
to
the day.
Radio Shack. You would get a little crystal, a crystal,
Oh.
and you'd plug it in, and you had that frequency, and you could hear the Bolton Fire Department when you needed to go. And so each one of those radio settings on it could be considered a frequency. And you get enough frequencies, you go from, I don't know, what is it, like 88 to, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know what the AM band is and the FM band. It doesn't mean that once you're all the way to the top of the FM band, oh, well, no, I will not go down to the AM sports channel. No, I am much better than that. Absolutely not. The more frequency, the more bandwidth you have, it means you can travel down. And maybe now you can go to this channel down here and not be as affected.
Does this where we fit in with dogs where they can hear things we can't even begin to imagine they hear? You know,
Yes.
because we've talked about visible light and invisible light. We
yeah.
have auditory frequencies, and then there
Yeah.
are frequencies beyond our hearing.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes with people age, they lose frequencies. That's why sometimes store owners
Yeah.
can play a sound that'll annoy teenagers, and they'll leave. But it doesn't annoy people who are, you know, just walking around looking for Wonder Bread.
Absolutely.
Because it's not the frequency they can hear. It's on.
Well, there's all kinds of frequencies. But to get back to this radio band
Yeah.
thing, that is one way to think of it. And so if, like your blood pressure changes, so does your
Frequency vibration.
frequency. So right now, let's just say my frequencies are, I don't know, midway on the FM dial. That means that I can't really get right up here, but I can get from here all the way down. And those are some pretty good stations too.
Right.
And so right now, maybe my frequencies, I'm like, I'm so tired. And I'm down
So this
here.
is
So
when-
the higher your frequency, the more is available
Expansive.
to you.
So if I'm feeling tired and cranky and hangry and that's so really stuck and sick and digging into my own three-dimensionalness,
Yes.
that's where I'm 3D. But when I can breathe and stop feeling so condensed and separate, and I could just expand my view of myself to expand into others and
Yes,
other realities,
yes.
that's raising my vibration. And pretty
Yes.
soon, not only am I a little happier, but I also feeling more connected and more compassionate. I'm feeling more aligned with where I want to be. I'm being my best version of myself because I'm choosing a higher vibration than agita and crankiness and physicality. I
Yeah.
would like to expand beyond those physical things to experience my higher vibrational self.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things you can do, we all have this luminous energy field. And if it helps you to think about the Clementine, mazel tov, because I think that that's a very, very easy way to think about it. And
Tasty too.
oh, I do love a good Clementine. But
Sorry.
But
Go ahead.
No, it's true
It
though.
is.
But so you've got this luminous energy field, and you can literally feel around it. And if I'm feeling, oh, there's a little something here. Is there something there? Am I just stopping to say there's something? Who cares? If I feel that there's something there, I'm like, okay, I can incinerate this. You're gone. Change the vibration. You have complete control over your luminous energy field. This area is.
This area. Love it.
Ooh, this is a soft sweater. I didn't
do
realize,
this every time.
No, I didn't realize it was that
Luminous
soft.
energy. Come on, we got 5
Luminous
minutes.
energy field. Lord, I told you it'd go by quick.
does go by
Are
quick.
we covering the stuff?
We did all the stuff.
Thanks, that's good. But no,
This is nothing to do with any of you. This is all about us just hanging out, talking together, because that's all it is half the time.
so
Right,
but if you've got your luminous energy field, just do that. It's expansive.
energy
Just
field.
do this. Do this with me. You're
Everyone
watching
with us.
this.
Here we go. Okay. All right.
Even that alone is joyous. And then you can feel around it, feel in the back,
Be aware
It's
of
like
it.
that. This is what you have control of. This is
So fill it with love. Just fill it with
Yes.
pink, fluffy, beautiful, happy, pink love energy, and walk around all day in your happy little sphere.
Yeah.
And then you can be better to others, right? Because I keep going back to that. 'Cause
Yeah.
that means being better for you to be, because isn't the pursuit of happiness what we're all here for anyway?
Yes.
So if we decide not just to pursue our personal happiness, but we want to pursue happiness for the one, for the whole, for all of us together, then that makes me a better person when I'm not just concerned about me getting in out of the rain, but all of us getting in out of the rain. I just, for me, is when I'm being my best self, we're all going together.
Well,
we
if-
all go to the circus.
if you're glowing,
Yeah,
right, you're glowing right now.
I know.
You really are.
I can't help it.
Oh my God. Oh, I could make a
Luminous field.
s'more. I could make a s'more.
Now she's off.
No, but seriously,
Anyway.
a Reiki s'mores. I always
Reiki
wanted
s'more.
that to be. But but the point of it
Sometime.
is, if your vibration is high, I'm gonna tune up to your vibration.
I hope.
Yes, consequently, if your vibration is low, and I'm not checking myself,
That's why dogs are so effective.
I could pull down to your vibration.
That's why dogs are so
Yeah.
effective. They can sense. Dogs, horses, they know. They'll come right over to you, put your head down on your knee. It's like, I don't even have a dog. How did he get in here? But
Yeah.
it's how you, other creatures are mindful of vibrational intention as well, and they want
Yeah.
to make you feel better, and that's what dogs excel at.
Yeah.
You know, some cats, if you're lucky, you know, but horses, working with certain types of children, different types of adults, same thing. Horses have a sense of what you need and are there to provide it.
Yeah. So multidimensionality, it's not as hard as people think it is,
Yeah.
because it is, you know,
And not scary either.
but for being a human being, you got some certain abilities that we sort of have not kept up with.
I think we haven't
in
been
our
taught about them.
civilization.
We're so busy exploring our five dimensions,
Yeah.
our five senses,
Yeah.
that we are not really paying attention to the more subtle senses. And I think that's what you and I are doing
Yeah.
more of our time. And luckily, too, blessed with retirement, we have more time to release
Yeah.
the five senses and explore the more subtle senses that bring us information, bring us joy, bring us, you know, happiness.
Yeah, because, you know, it's all about, what's our tagline? Hope and healing
In
for
this
these
troubled,
changing times.
these changing times.
Yeah, so if you think about it, it all builds off. You do the shadow work, as within, so without. Keep your frequency up. Your frequency is going to get you to experience different dimensions. And again, it doesn't mean like that. My favorite cartoon, where there's like a woman drawn halfway into the wall saying, I'm going to another dimension. You need anything? Someday it'll be that. But until that day, to get used to it, if you just realize that when your vibrations are a little higher, you have different possibilities ahead of you. You have different ways to get information from your environment. You know, the body's great for the 3D reality. We can climb trees, we can walk down the lane, and our spirit, us, with the luminous energy field, it is our spirit that senses, develop,
oneness.
develop the spiritual sense, because the body gives the version of I end here and you begin here. But in reality, when you look at it from a spiritual perspective,
When you sense it energetically.
we have this, we have the cube thing, we have part of everything. We blend into everything. Eventually, we blend to the other side of the universe.
Because there's what?
Yes,
Only one of us.
one of us. Yes.
Yes.
I think we covered it.
I think you covered it. We'll leave it there.
It's a fascinating beginning understanding of this. And if you liked this show, let us know. Tell your friends, share it. And as always, thank you so much for watching New Earth Now.
It's on TV.
New Earth Now
On
is
CBC.
on TV. Yeah. I love that song.
Sing the song. Dance,
Yes.
dance, everybody
Yes. All right. We'll see you later. Yes.
We're done.
Yeah.
5 seconds.
Yes. 5 seconds.
All right, we'll see you here.
All that stays in. All that stays in.
New Earth Now is on TV. New Earth Now on CBC. New Earth Now.